I told the team last night our identity and who we are and our foundation is all about grit.
I think you can turn around a franchise every 3 seasons, easily. Just because everybody else is doing it, oh, it's the Lions. I don't want to hear it's the Lions. I don't want to hear at the end of the year, if this team wins 6-7 games, oh, well, we're on the right path. Oh, everything's okay. We're still sitting here.
Dude, baby boy, the right one may not be there.
Well, we got some footage. Dan Campbell at his presser today from Corey Woods. We'll play that, and then we'll be right back.
I told the team last night our identity and who we are and our foundation is all about grit, and that's physical and mental toughness, and that means taking it one day at a time. You know, that means going a little longer and pushing a little harder, thinking a little deeper, a little sharper. You know, those terms, and so I think that when we think that way and we just worry about what's in front of us, everything else it'll play itself out. So I just try to be me. I've got a lot of energy. I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic. I'm just me, and I think that's what comes out of me. So I think that helps those guys. They believe me, I guess. And they feel it, and so they react off of that, and I think it helps, you know.
All right, well done to Corey Woods. Shout out to Corey Woods, man. He's crushing it this year. I'm excited for him. It's going to be a big year.
Although I did have to scream at him the other day.
What was that for?
I said, Corey, and I was kind of joking. Corey, the Lions going to win the division this year? And instead of saying no, he went, well, I said, Corey, it's okay just to say no. The rebuilding process isn't to the point where they can win a division this year. You can just say no. Well, I said, come on, dude, really? Don't give me this well crap. They're not winning the division.
What if I told you that Dan Campbell's a top 12 coach in the NFL at the end of the year, and Jared Goff plays at a level similar to what you saw in 2018? Would you say it's a playoff team? Would you say
they would find a way to screw it up?
Well,
I would say
not necessarily,
no.
right? Because I'm telling you, he's a top 12 coach. He's had a fantastic season.
Yeah, but that's a big if. That's a huge leap.
I think that's what Corey's going for. I'm trying to understand what the hell he's saying.
But there's no evidence that he's going to be a top 12.
Is top 12 based off of wins?
Yes.
What makes him a top 12
coach? And also organization and putting together this franchise. And Jared Goff is what he is.
I think so. Look, we had this conversation last year. Most of you at home told me that this was a 10-win team. I laughed at you. I told you were dumb. I told you it's a 3 to 4 win team. They ended up winning 3 games and a tie. We're not going to do this again this year. I'm not going to listen to any of you. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. This team, I don't believe, is ready to win the division, but in a lowly stacked NFC, a weak NFC, I believe 8-9 gets you into the wild card this season. Arizona falls off. I don't think New Orleans is going anywhere without Sean Payton, so good luck with that. I think they're in a rebuild, but you like to tell me they're not. Tampa Bay's making the playoffs. Green Bay's making the playoffs. Minnesota's making the playoffs. The Rams are making the playoffs. I'm not even sure what to make of the Niners. They've never made the playoffs back-to-back years under Kyle Shanahan. That's concerning. So, the NFC is open for a wild card spot. I think the division winners are pretty set in stone this year.
Yeah, but if 2 teams from the same division are going to make the playoffs, in your words, are the Lions going to win the division?
No, they can make the, like I said, they can make the playoffs.
No.
As an 8
My question for Corey is, are they going to win the division? I didn't say anything about playoffs.
Oh yeah, no, they're not winning.
And
he
was like,
they're not winning the division.
You know, I'm like, dude, just say no.
Yeah, no, 0%. 0%
Okay, thank you.
Not going to happen.
I thought I was gonna
the
have to
NFC
yell
just
at you
won the
too.
last 2 Super Bowls. It isn't that weak. Terry, would you like to answer that one?
What was that?
The NFC just won the last 2 Super Bowls, Terry. It's not weak.
Well,
the NFC, you know what? Do you know what the NFC means? It includes all 16 teams. It doesn't just include the top tier 1. So in the NFC, you have, I would say, 3 legitimate teams. right? You have the Packers, you have the Rams, and you have the Buccaneers with Tom Brady. Those are your three legitimate known contenders. In the AFC West alone has more than the entire NFC. The Raiders, the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, all contenders this year. The AFC in one division has more than the entire NFC. Shut the hell up, guys. All right? I don't like calling you stupid, but you are.
Actually, you do like calling him stupid.
I do. It's frustrating, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Lines are projected 6.5 wins. That's their line in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I think for you to convince me that there's legitimate improvement and that there's a legitimate head coach in this organization at the moment, it would have to be a 7 to 8 win season. That's the only standard I have. Anything below 7, even if it's right at 6, it's tough to look in the mirror and say, all right, through 2 seasons, we've been stable. We've improved, right? Because Jim Schwartz, I'm sure you all remember, 3 wins, 6 wins, 10 wins. Well, you can use that comparison if you want, but what I see is 3 wins, 6 wins, and the team's improving. It has more talent than it has had probably in the last 3, 4, 5 years. And you haven't figured it out yet? Do you give Dan Campbell the 3rd year? Yeah, you do. That's not my argument this morning. My argument is I would feel more confident going into an offseason talking about a coach who is 10 or 11 wins in through 2 years after a 3-win start, and then a guy who has 4, 5, 6, 7 wins through 2 years. And we're sitting here saying, yep, that's the guy. We're going to give him the 3rd year. I don't think Dan can afford to hit the under, especially with the schedule they have.
Correct. And I have a philosophy, and this is based on a 16-game schedule. Then the National Football League, 90% of teams are going to finish with 6 to 10 wins. So even if you have an aberration where you win 2 games or something, you're going to elevate to that 6 to 10 win. Now, I don't know how that changes under 17 games. Is that 7 to 11? Or is it still 6 to, or maybe 7 to 10? I don't know.
It could be 6. It could be 7 to 10, 7 to 11. Look, we talked about this. I told you in a decade period, if you could win the division 3 times, that means you've won the division every 3 years. What does that match? My timeline for success for any NFL team, not just the Lions. I think you can turn around a franchise every 3 seasons easily. The NFL allows you to do it with the salary cap, with draft picks, with free agency. You have the opportunity. The problem the Lions have is if Dan Campbell's not the coach, if he's just another Jim Schwartz, Rod Marinelli, Jim Caldwell, that's not winning you a division, guys. And that's the goal. Not the Super Bowl. The goal is to win the division first. Because if you can win the division, I can take you seriously. And I can say, oh, well, you're hosting a game at Ford Field. You have a much...
Well, shouldn't we be saying making the playoffs first and then win the division?
No, because what is that? Jim Caldwell made the playoffs. His 3rd year.
No,
9
I'm saying,
and 7.
but when you go from 3-13-1, I mean, you're not just going to go from 3-13-1 to a division winner.
You'd be surprised the Rams had 10 straight losing seasons before Sean McVay showed up. Motherfuckers have 5 straight winning seasons.
Did he do that with the Detroit Lions?
No. The point is,
think so.
Okay, but I don't want to. That's not an excuse. Just because everybody else is doing it, oh, it's the Lions. I don't want to hear it's the Lions. I want to hear, oh man, we're taking that organization seriously now, like we are talking about with Brad Holmes. It's got to happen on the field now. It has to happen on the field. I don't want to hear at the end of the year if this team wins 6, 7 games. Oh well, we're on the right path. Everything's okay.
That's what you're gonna hear.
What I want to hear.
You're going to hear, brother. Not from me, but you're going to hear it.
What I want to hear, if that's the case, if you're going to use that argument with me, what I want to hear is, hey, we expect to compete for the division in year 3. And if you aren't, their head coach is not the right guy. And you could fall a game short in the 3rd year of winning the division. You just missed out on head-to-head, or they got hot at the end and you dropped the game. You probably... I don't care. If you compete for the division, that's a good sign. What does that put Dan Campbell now at? 3 years? Hasn't won a division yet, but came real close, right? A game shy, let's say. Well, then going into the 4th year, I think nobody in town should be mad at me for saying this. You fire his ass if he doesn't win the division in year 4.
You sounded, you're not wrong, but you sounded like a guy that was ready to make a decision after year 3. That if he doesn't meet your expectations, you sound like a guy just say, hey, you know what? Let his ass go. I think that's too soon.
If the Lions, I'll tell you why. If the Lions from week 1 to week 18, right? If they are contending for the division, they're at the top, 1-2, week in, week out, contending, fighting for that division title, and they just fall short and they're a wild card team.
And you're talking about in year 3?
Year 3.
Okay.
I think that is acceptable.
Okay.
What I don't believe is acceptable in year 3 is a losing season. What I don't think is acceptable is an average season. You don't need more than 3 years to figure it out in the NFL. Zach Taylor, year 3, Super Bowl run. Do I even care about the Super Bowl? No. I care more that the Bengals actually won their division. That was enough for me. And the thing is, Zach Taylor came in, like Dan Campbell, bad situation. He didn't have much success year 1. Year 2, they showed a ton of promise with Joe Burrow. The offense was working really well without Jamar Chase. He wasn't even there yet. Joe Burrow goes down. They lose the rest of their games. It allows them to get Jamar Chase. They load up in free agency. And what do you know? The head coach puts it all together. They win a division, and they make an unbelievable Super Bowl run.
Here's the fly in your ointment.
What's
First
that?
of all, this is not going to happen with Jared Goff as your starting quarterback. They've got to find that guy. And it might be a rookie or a second-year guy, somebody fresh out of college.
What if it's they draft a rookie this year, a quarterback in the first round, they trade up, let's say, and in year 3, Jared Goff starts and the rookie sits. I think that's perfect. I think that matches your timeline perfectly. And I've seen Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. I've seen the young kids come into this league and do just fine. The only thing you're telling me right now is, well, it's a rookie quarterback, Adam. No, it's did you draft the right one? We're still sitting here.
Dude, baby boy, the right one may not be there.
I
You
don't give
gotta
a
get
damn.
lucky
Your
sometimes.
job is to get the right one. Who knew Patrick Mahomes would be at 10? Deshaun Watson at 12. I don't want to hear the excuses. Josh Allen at 7. Justin Herbert at 7. Fuck all of your excuses at home. I don't care. I don't care at all. Stop with the excuses.
But all those names came through a period where there was a bunch of quality quarterbacks.
Not necessarily.
It may or may not happen again. That's my only thing. That's why
It happens every year.
The Lions it didn't happen last year. Who did you want out? You want Malik Willis?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, then.
God,
Just
no.
saying.
No. Last year, I meant the Trevor Lawrence draft. Like, you have an abundance. Typically, every season, there's one quarterback that comes out. Since the year 2000, every season, on average, one a year, out of every draft, there's a star quarterback. A guy that sets you up for 10, 12, 15 years. Every year, on average. Some years, multiple come out. Some years, just one. You have the anomalies like Herbert and Burrow coming out at the same time. Watson and Mahomes coming out at the same time. And in those very drafts, you have Tua. In those very drafts, you have people like Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Mitchell Trubisky.
Okay, but if it's one that comes out, you may not always be able to get him.
Terry, I don't care. That's your job, Brad Holmes. That's your job, the Detroit Lions. Your job is to get the right guy. I don't care. I don't care if, well, it's hard to get a... Figure it out. That's your job.
What if the guy is number one?
Look, we're not talking about...
And the team doesn't want to trade.
We're not talking about the Bills right now. What are we talking about the Bills as? Contenders in the AFC. Oh, isn't that funny? Weren't they a pathetic franchise for 10, 15, 20 years almost?
Yes.
After their Super Bowl runs? Well, they're doing just fine now. They figured it out. If all these teams can get a quarterback, and the Lions have proved in the past they could, even though it was with the number 1 pick with Stafford, but still, get the quarterback right. I don't want to hear, well, in 3 years we might have a rookie quarterback, or in 4 years it might be a second-year quarterback. Well, what does that mean? Justin Herbert's going into his 3rd year.
Are you willing to snatch a veteran then?
No, I think Goff is fine this year and next year.
No. Is he going to be fine in 3 years?
We'll see how he plays. We'll see how he plays.
Because in 3 years, if they're not knocking on the door, you want to get rid of their ass.
Oh, absolutely.
So, are you willing
To bring in a veteran.
to bring in a veteran and replace him?
Jared
replace
Goff and then
with
draft
him?
your future quarterback. So here's the thing.
Jared Goff is like listed as number 26, 27, 28 as far as quarterbacks.
Here's the issue I have. I believe in the NFL, there are anomalies, right, where you can draft a quarterback and sit him, and it's successful in the first round. But who is in charge of that? I have confidence in Andy Reid that they were going to figure it out with Patrick Mahomes. Did it take long for you to see the talent in Joe Burrow?
No.
Did it take
saw
long
pretty
for you
quick.
to see the flashes in Justin Herbert? Did it take you long to see the flashes in Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes,
No, but it's
Deshaun
taking
Watson?
me longer with Trevor Lawrence than I'd like to see.
But why I'm bringing this up, and again, if they miss, they miss. But why I'm bringing this up is we have the same conversation in the opposite fashion when it comes to Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Some of these younger guys drafted a few years ago. Oh, well, Tua. Oh, well, he could. It doesn't take long in the NFL. The good to great quarterbacks show you right away what they're capable of.